Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday. Got to work like a slave all day.
Your heart is thumping. The fear that I wouldn't be on the air today. You know you're a fan of the Savage Nation. But I'm here. No fill-in today. Now, those in the East are battening down the hatches for the big snowstorm that's coming, not as a result of global warming. My birthday is on March 31st. Even as a child, there was an adage that was well known: March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Well, it's not the end of March yet. And very often there were snowstorms in March when I was a kid. You see, folks, I'm an environmentalist of sorts, but not really. I'm a conservationist, and I have been my whole life. I'm also a trained scientist with a real PhD, not one that I earned in a Cracker Jack box. I read the science. I go where the evidence leads. There have been 5 ice ages prior to the arrival of industrialization on the planet. The ice came and the ice went. What caused that? Natural phenomena. Volcanic eruptions, sunspots, things like that. I have fought long and hard to rescue the Earth in many ways, but I'm not going to go along with the lies of the illegitimate mafia left, who are in the business of global warming, not the science of global warming. So today we're going to talk about not that, of course. Tomorrow you probably won't hear me on the East Coast because of the storm. They'll probably want a weatherman to tell you what you see out your window. I mean, that's important. You look out the window and see the snow, and all day long you'll have to hear every station, every television show showing you a newspaper reporter in galoshes walking around on Fifth Avenue in the snow, as if you didn't know there was snow in the street. It's a perfect day to listen to the radio is a day that it snows, so get it while you can, because I don't know if I'll be heard tomorrow on the East Coast. Well, you can stream me at any time, that's the truth. But what do I want to talk about today? What really is worth your ears? What is worthy of your ears today on the Savage Nation? What don't you know that I can tell you? How about this? Do you know who Benedict Arnold is? Well, we have a new one in America. His name is John McCain. John McCain is the Benedict Arnold of our time, as I will, I think, aptly demonstrate to you on this program today. That's one topic. The Democrats, desperate for illegal aliens and dummies who are on drugs to vote, are wanting to lower the voting age to 17 in California. It's not bad enough that they turned it into a one-party dictatorship. Now Moonbeam wants to turn it into an illiterate one-party system. 17-year-olds are going to vote. Isn't that great? They really know what they're doing, don't they? You ever see the pictures they send each other on Instagram to find a mate? Do you know what's going on in the dating sites amongst the young? Do you realize it's nothing about what the character of the person is? They send pictures of their naked bodies. Maybe that's what it's been about since Adam and Eve. I don't know. I kind of thought you had to find someone you could have a communication with, but then I'm from another age. We're also going to talk about Stalin in stilettos. Stalin in stilettos. That would be Nancy Pelosi, the new Stalin in gold lame stilettos, and Maxine Waters wearing, I guess, Dutch wooden shoes. They're not exactly stilettos, but 2 of them are now the Stalinists of our time. And then we're going to talk about a very sensitive issue, which is Barfly, which is Kellyanne Conway. I think she has long past her shelf life. She has made such a new mistake. It's one big mistake after another. This is not bashing a woman. This is going to undermine this entire administration unless she is removed from the public eye. So let's begin with the issue of Benedict Arnold McCain. For those of you who didn't go to grade school, or let's say graduated Harvard and didn't learn anything about history, I know if you went to Harvard you probably learned how to put a condom on a cucumber and that Jenny has 3 mommies, but Benedict Arnold was an early American hero of the Revolutionary War. You know what that was? I know if you went to Berkeley, you didn't learn what that was. You think you're living through it now. But Benedict Arnold was an American hero of the Revolutionary War. He was on our side. And then he became one of the most infamous traitors in U.S. history because he switched sides and fought for the British. You see, at the outbreak of the Revolutionary War, Benedict Arnold participated in the capture of the British garrison of Fort Ticonderoga in 1775. In 1776, he hindered a British invasion of New York at the Battle of Lake Champlain, beautiful area. Following year, he played a crucial role in bringing about the surrender of British General John Burgoyne's army at Saratoga. But you see, something happened. Benedict Arnold never received the recognition he thought he deserved. In 1779, he entered into secret negotiations with the British. He had agreed to turn over the U.S. post at West Point in return for money and a command in the British Army. But the plot was discovered. But nevertheless, Benedict Arnold escaped to British lines. His name has since become synonymous with the word traitor. I will now play for you a soundbite of our Benedict Arnold. The only thing he's not yet done is gone over to the other side and taken a commission in the communist, Democrat, socialist, Islamist machine. Listen to clip number 6 of our Benedict Arnold McCain.
President Trump has to provide the American people, not just the Intelligence Committee, but the American people with evidence that his predecessor, former President of the United States, was guilty of breaking the law because our Director of National Intelligence, General Clapper, testified that there was absolutely no truth to that allegation. So I think the president has one of two choices: either retract or to provide the information that the American people deserve, because if his predecessor violated the law, President Obama violated the law, we've got a serious issue here, to say the least.
Sick, evil traitor, Benedict Arnold. Sickening to watch this man. He is the enemy within. I talk about it in great detail along with the other rhino traders in Trump's war, which is out this week, by the way. It'll be in bookstores everywhere tomorrow with front of store placement. And I expect you, as part of the Savage Army, I expect you'll want to go there and check out a copy. But let's talk about McCain for another minute. Let's play clip 5, and then I'm going to ask you if you think he's being a traitor or not, because I'm clearly, in my mind, he is clearly a traitor. 05.
There's a lot of things about our relations with Russia that trouble me a lot. For example,
you warmongering drunk
Republican platform that called for the provision of defensive weapons to Ukraine after being invaded by Russia. Why was that taken out of the Republican platform? Clearly, it was not the will of most Republicans. There's a lot of aspects of this whole relationship with Russia and Vladimir Putin that requires further scrutiny, and so far I don't think the American people have gotten all the answers. In fact, I think there's a lot more shoes to drop from this centipede.
So he's Maxine Waters in drag. What he is saying, what McCain is saying, is exactly what the far maniac left in the form of Pelosi and Waters is saying. He, in essence, is a Benedict Arnold. Now, why has McCain become such? Why has he become such a traitor? If you look back on his horrendous career in the military, we all know he suffered for 5 years at the hands of the sacred Vietnamese who tortured him in the Hanoi Hilton. They tortured him. We commend him for that spirit of his. But you see, McCain almost sank the aircraft carrier he was assigned to. He was on the deck of I think the Forrestal, if I'm not mistaken. You can check it out. And he pressed the wrong button, and he set off a missile from his jet on the deck of that ship. It was a Zuni missile. It struck another jet sitting on the tarmac of that aircraft carrier. All the ordnance went off on that other jet. The ship almost caught fire. Many men died putting the fire out. That was John McCain's career in the Navy. In the Navy. Now, his father was a distinguished admiral. His grandfather was a distinguished admiral. This one was the last in his class at Annapolis. Do you know that? People who know him they say to me, he's just dumb. I don't think he's just dumb. I think he is a traitor. There are other stories I want to talk about on the program. The phone number here is 855-407-282 if you care to get involved in the conversation. If you're as interested in the news as I am, I'm sure you will. I have a lot that I want to get to because I think it's important for us to take a look at what's really going on. Number one, is warmonger McCain a traitor? Should the voting age be lowered? And now let's go to the topic that's the most difficult for me to do today, which is Kellyanne Conway. I think you know who she is. She is a spokesman or advisor to Donald Trump. She's a Jenny-come-lately. She did nothing for the campaign until the last 3 months, and then took credit for getting Donald Trump elected, I don't know on what basis. And as a result, she was made a senior advisor. Fine, people get rewarded for their political work. But since she became advisor, she has shown herself to be an outlying individual who has made one tremendous mistake after another, upstaging the president at almost every turn, running around in front of the cameras to the extent that it looked like she had some kind of problems with not narcissism, but an outsized view of herself. Now she's gone over the edge, gone into areas that she can never come back from, where the entire media is saying, I mean, what is Trump doing? What is he? I mean, it's one thing to be loyal to your let's say, workers or associates. It's another thing to not know when to cut them loose. And I'm sorry. I think this is too much for me. And so there's a lead story on this in many newspapers around the country, USA Today. Then we're going to the next one. It was in the New York Post this morning. She shifted from barfly outfits to the mother outfits. She probably got a costume designer to tell her, stop with the short skirts already. You remember that famous picture of her on the sofa with the legs up? With the distinguished African-American educators in the same room? It was like a softcore porno shot. She knew what she was doing. Every woman knows what she's doing. Every grown woman knows what she's doing. They have tremendous power over men. You don't sit with your legs splayed on a couch in a setting like this. It was unbelievable to me. It showed a derangement, to be very honest with you. Now, on one day, Sunday, she goes on TV, on some show, and she says that the Trump Tower had surveillance. Conway walks back Trump Tower surveillance remarks. Today she appears in a mommy dress. No more short skirts. Now it's with little doilies around her neckline with her children, which I found to be very cynical to use your children like this. And I'm sorry to say, I'm very picky about people. That's what I do for a living. If you look at a close-up of this Kellyanne Conway advisor to Mr. Trump, you take a look at her fingers. There are no nails in her fingers. Most women have their nails done, especially those in the media. Am I wrong to even notice these things? The woman looks like she chews her nails. You don't show your fingers if you chew your nails and you're a public figure. Why am I making such an issue of it? Why? Because everything is everything, down to the smallest detail. And if you cannot take care of your hygiene, and you are not focused on your own hygiene, meaning how you look in public, then you don't know what you're sounding like when you speak in public. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Forget about it. Winter Storm Stella is going to slam New York City. Stella! Why are they calling it Stella? I guess tomorrow I'll play Stella by Starlight by John Coltrane. There's another version of Stella by Starlight. I think it's not as good as that one. Why do you think McCain has become a traitor? Why has he gone over to the other side? Should Donald Trump move Kellyanne Conway so that she's never again ever seen in public? This is the Savage Nation. Phone number is 855-407-282. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com.
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
But my real name is girl.
I'm not going to say it's a great horn piece. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not on a turnstile anymore. I don't have a transfer. How has McCain become Benedict Arnold? What do you think happened to him? Remember, I just told you who Benedict Arnold was, and I said he was a great general, and he never received the recognition he thought he deserved, so he became a traitor and he joined the British. McCain has joined the enemy, and that's probably because he probably feels he never received the recognition he thought he deserved. And we have callers now on that subject. I think it's a very important one because McCain is clearly a traitor. There's no way. He's repeating the line of Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Mad Dog Waters. WABC, New York. Doug, fire away. Why is McCain the way he is? Nothing there. Go ahead.
Oh, I was calling to sort of corroborate what you were saying about John McCain. Now, one thing I can say, this is sort of on subject, but not on subject. So I served on the USS Forrestal back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was known that in fact, the ship was turned, they called it the Forest Fire, USS Forrestal, because a bomb detonated from his plane and killed 100 some odd people.
Right, John. I don't think people know that. We remember him as a war hero because of the fact that he was in a prisoner of war camp where the Vietnamese tortured him for 5 years. And by the way, the Vietnamese who did that to him should have been tried in a Nuremberg trial and executed. Today they're probably running some restaurants in San Francisco. Yeah. But the but is, if a naval officer even does that by mistake, usually they're driven out of the service. And the thing is, because his father was Admiral McCain, he was given a pass. Don't you think that's true?
Absolutely, without a question.
All right. So now we wake up, and here he is repeating the big lie of Nancy Pelosi and the big lies of Maxine Mad Dog Waters, and I'm saying he's a traitor. Are those words too strong?
It doesn't make sense to me, Michael. I don't understand what he's doing. You would think, unless he's been a pseudo-conservative all these years, but it doesn't make sense to me why he would flip like that.
All right, I'm sending you a copy of my newly released book tomorrow, Trump's War, where I discuss not only McCain, and I'm not going to read from the book today. I may do it tomorrow. I may not do it tomorrow. I don't want to bore my audience by reading what they're going to read themselves. There's a whole chapter, Trump's War Against the Rhinos. Can you believe what I'm talking about here is in the book? You know, Obama blamed talk radio for spreading Russian propaganda back in December. Do you realize that that's the big lie now of the Democrat Party? Russia, Russia, Russia. And McCain is now a cheerleader for that traitorous allegation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
You're listening to Michael Savage. Coming up at 3, it's Mark Levin on Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
Sorry, I do like it. It's okay. I like my new look with the hat. Got rid of the fedora for the turn it off. I got rid of the fedora for Trump's War. I think it's a good picture. It's like a Swedish hat. It has earmuffs on it, like an ear thing that comes down. I guess next they're going to make a hat like that with a front piece that comes down like a hijab in Sweden to make it a real Swedish hat. Something that drops from the front like a veil. Maybe men will be forced to cover their faces out of shame in Sweden for how they've let their women be raped and mauled by the immigrants from Africa and the Middle East. I know I'm not supposed to say it, but everyone knows what's going on. There are no Swedish men anymore. Either they were in prison or they're... Where did they go? What happened to Sweden? How did the descendants of Vikings become invisible and let their nation be overrun like this? I got distracted. I'm just talking about my new hat, my new look on Trump's War. But the topics are pretty serious. Is warmonger McCain a traitor? We're going to talk about, should Trump fire Kellyanne Conway right now to save the presidency? He doesn't have to exactly fire her. But this latest gaffe is, to me, would be the last straw. I don't care how loyal he is to his supporters. There comes a point at which you have to put the presidency above your loyalty. Okay? Presidency above the loyalty. It's nice to be loyal to an employee, but the presidency is far more important because it's about the nation now. Trump swore his battle for America. Forget the fact that the nails are not done, okay? That wasn't catty of me. It's a reality. Women look at these things. A nail biter. Oh, next we're going to see bloody cuticles, and we're supposed to not see that either? He doesn't have to fire her. He could make her a Jägermeister girl in bars in New Jersey, giving out little Jägermeisters with Trump hats. She could become a Jägermeister girl in South Jersey on the shore. Here are some other topics. Clinton fired 93 U.S. attorneys in one day. Really? Maxine Waters didn't know that? What, she didn't know the news in those days? I they were screaming, Trump fired U.S. attorneys. Ay, 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 the world's coming to an end. Ah! President Obama fired many of them, but it's typical a president fires U.S. attorneys. Clinton fired 93 U.S. attorneys in only one day. Trump only 46. 93 in one day. Attorney General Janet Sterno, remember her? She set a church on fire and killed a number of women and children, never went to jail for it. She went off into the sunset in a pickup truck with AstroTurf on the rear bed. Attorney General Janet Sterno demanded the resignation of all U.S. attorneys, by the way, in her day. It's typical what they do. Mass firings. Almost nothing. No congressional investigations when Sterno did it. Not a word from up Chuck Schumer. But now Trump does the same exact thing, only asking 46 to resign. Beyond belief how they don't know their own past. Here's another one for those of you who think that all is well in Glockamora. New York State is scrapping literacy test for aspiring teachers. Do you know why? Listen to me. The New York State education, whatever it is, whoever they are, is getting rid of their literacy test for aspiring teachers because too many blacks and Hispanics are failing it. I didn't make it up. If you say it's a racist statement, it means you're a moron. Because without quality, there can be no equality. That's Michael Savage's statement. Are you listening to what I said? New York State education officials are poised to scrap a test designed to measure the reading and writing skills of people trying to become teachers, in part because an outsized percentage of black and Hispanic candidates were failing it. So the State Board of Regents on Monday is expected to adopt a task force's recommendation of eliminating the literacy exam for teachers, known as the Academic Literacy Skills Test. So if the teachers cannot teach, how can you expect the students to learn? If a dummy can't read English, how can you have a dummy teach your children and expect your children to learn the language? So listen to what the communist professor of education, so-called, at Pace University, who's on the board that did this, says. Leslie Sudak says we want high standards without a doubt. Not every given test is going to get us there, said Leslie Sodak. So she's the one who wants the literacy test for teachers dropped. And listen to what Sudak had the nerve to say after it. If this is not a racist statement, I'd like to know what is in the new communist America, when the progressive communist left has destroyed all meaning of decency. The so-called professor says, having a white workforce really doesn't match our student body anymore. I'm speechless. I'm not speechless. I'm never speechless. Having a white workforce doesn't match our student body? Hey, dummy, the students are supposed to learn. You don't learn from the students. They don't know anything. Dummy. All right, whatever. Did you see the article over the weekend? Trump said, I wouldn't be president without this man. It was a lead article on WorldNet Daily. It's up on michaelsavage.com. I'd be remiss not to point it out to you. It's a great article. I'm not going to read it. It's a super article. I can't read the whole thing to you. I wish I could. If I were another talk show host, I'd read all 5 pages to you ad nauseum now for 40 minutes. I'll read the headlines. Trump says I wouldn't be president without this man. Next headline in it. America's Eddies and Ediths. Internal Civil War. God is back. It's a good article. Otmore wrote it over the weekend. I thought it would be up on some major websites today, but it isn't. But there are some other articles that came out about the book. Washington Times, Michael Savage does battle a new book, Trump's War. It was amongst the 10 most popular stories in the Washington Times over the weekend. Newsmax had a great article. Michael Savage slams CNN for communist attacks on Trump. So if you go to my website, you can link them all up. And there's another couple of stories you have to see. MS-13 gang members smile and wave at camera during Texas court hearing on satanic killings. They kidnapped a girl, raped her, and then killed her. and now they're smiling in the courtroom, even though they're illegal aliens. Schumer does not want a wall built. I guess he wants more rapists, murderers, and more drugs in America. You know, the only way to deal with the Schumers of the world is to not treat them as gentlemen. They're not. They're communist ideologues. They're hacks. So what you say is you put a microphone in Schumer's face, and you say, you don't want the wall. What do you want, more drugs? You want more rapists over here? You want more drugs? You want more crime, Schumer? That's the end of Schumer. But I know there's no one out there with the brains to do this. I don't get it. They treat him nicely. Germany spent more than $21 billion on refugees in 2016. $21 billion as the crisis of Muslims and Africans is outstripping state budgets in Germany. Merkel is a traitor and a communist. Okay, I don't live in Germany, so what do you care about that? Thank God we have Trump, but they're blocking him at every turn. 855-407-2882. You're calling, though. Sweden, migrants slice a woman's throat, murders husbands, and laugh. Oh, yeah, you didn't make it to the USA Today? Sweden, migrants slice woman's throat, murders the husband, and laughs. Migrants in Sweden, that's a cozy word. Migrants in Sweden sliced open a woman's throat, almost beheading her, then stabbed her husband to death before laughing at the heinous double murder they had just committed. Police were called out to an incident in Hallenbergen in northern Stockholm, an area in which over 67% of the residents are foreign-born, with most coming from Lebanon, Syria, and Eritrea. I can't even read the rest of the story. I cannot read this. The men were high on marijuana. Really? I thought marijuana was a peaceful drug. Not. It's not a peaceful drug. It brings out violence in people. Marijuana makes people super violent and crazy. In fact, if you study the origin of the word hashish, those of you who smoke hash, you know what the origin of the word hashish is? If you felt a little crazy when you smoked it, or even if you smoke marijuana today, it's on the level of what hashish was in my day. Hashish comes from the Arabic word assassin. That's the derivation of it, because all assassins in Arabia smoked hashish before going out on their killing sprees, because it tends to suppress the conscience and excite the vengeance or violence within. There is an epidemic of crimes being committed by Muslim migrants in Sweden being hidden by the media. The barbarism is at war with the West. The New World Order wants the barbaric immigrants in order to threaten the native populations. Okay, that's it. As far as I can go on radio. Any further, and I'm not on radio anymore. KSFO, Gene, line 1, you're on the Savage Nation. What's your topic?
Dr. Savage, I totally agree with you. I praise God that you're not speechless, that you speak out to a nation who needs to hear your words. We need it, and we thank God for your book, Trump's War. Everyone needs to get several copies and pass it around. But I also want to totally agree with you on McCain. What in the world has happened to him? He's a sore loser. He and Lindsey Graham for years have been going around speaking out about this and that and the other and spewing hatred and stirring up America. No wonder Trump has to drain the swamp.
Yeah, but he's got to start with the rhinos. He's got to drain the swamp of the rhinos who are threatening to devour the entire administration. McCain is a Benedict Arnold of our time.
Amen.
Now, where are you calling from? What city are you in, Gene?
I'm in Louisville. Actually, I'm a little further out from Louisville, more toward the north and LaGrange on your way to Cincinnati. But love you. And
so you're picking me up on KSFO.com on the stream, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Well, let me ask you. So I'm not on the radio station there in your area. I used to be on in that area. I don't know what happened, but when you stream the show, how do you do it? You have an iPhone and you just punch it in?
I have an iPhone. I'm on, TSL.
Oh, TalkStream Live. But where is your iPhone while you're listening? Are you in a car? Where do you listen to this on an iPhone?
When I'm on my iPhone, I'm everywhere. Right now, I'm in my car, and I pulled over because I totally agree with you about McCain. And
well, no, I want to ask you something. No, I'm curious the listening habits of people. I'm not a guy who listens to radio on the iPhone. if I tune into another show, which is seldom, I just scan other shows as we all do. It's on a radio in my house. What, you put the iPhone down on your middle of the area there in the car and you listen to it that way, or you plug it through the radio speakers?
Well, I put it on the little console on my car, but I know.
But you play it through the iPhone speaker, right?
Exactly.
Amazing. Look at the world we're living in. We've gone, I mean, so far. I know it's not new technology, but it's still awesome to me. It's awesome to me. All right, I'm sending you a copy of Trump's War because you were so kind to mention it so many times. You know what I want to talk about today? There's other topics I haven't. I've given you 7 or 8 topics already, honestly. Not to show you how smart I am. There's so many other things. Russia confirms their ambassador met with Trump and Clinton camps during election. Because you see, boys and girls, that's what ambassadors do. They actually go to countries they're assigned to and meet with top officials. I know it's hard for Nancy Pelosi to know that because of all of the meatballs she's made over the years. Apparently the cheese got into her nose and somehow stuffed part of her brains up. Here's another big story. Celiac disease. I know, you know, I've been like a little skeptical about the gluten-free thing. But a friend of mine, friend of yours? No, it's a friend of mine. Friend of yours? He's a friend of ours. A friend of mine. A friend of mine sent me a big thing on celiac disease because I've been skeptical about it. Because I've said, you know, people who have celiac disease certainly should avoid gluten, but it's gone too far. And the friend of mine sent me an article on why it's modern wheat, because it didn't make sense to me that wheat being the staple of mankind for 5,000 years, why all of a sudden, I asked, should so many people be reacting to wheat? So the friend of mine sent me a theory on celiac disease and modern wheat that I have to share with you on the Savage Nation. I still like spaghetti, by the way. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com.
You're listening to Michael Savage. Coming up tomorrow morning from 5 to 9, it's the KSFO Morning Show on Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
You know, we all need medicine, but prescription meds and their costs can really add up. Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary widely, and insurance isn't always your best bet. With GoodRx, you can stop paying too much for your prescriptions. You see, GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. In fact, most people save at least 49% off of the retail price of their drugs, and GoodRx is easy to use. They even used my name. You just text GoodRx 466379 and enter the code SAVAGE. Then you type in the name of your prescription and your zip code. Bingo, and a price comes back. While GoodRx is not insurance, GoodRx prices often beat insurance prices. So don't go to the pharmacy without checking drug prices at GoodRx first. GoodRx saves you money. It's totally free. No membership required. No need to supply personal info. No. To see how you can start saving money on your prescriptions, just text GoodRx, that's 466379, and then you enter the code SAVAGE. That's all you have to do. GoodRx on your mobile phone, code SAVAGE. You have nothing to lose, just money to save. So check out GoodRx for your prescription now. It's so simple. Simply text GoodRx, that's 466379. Enter the code SAVAGE. Try it today. Don't wait. Go to GoodRx today. This is the Savage Nation. Meg on WFTL in Florida. What's up, Meg?
Hi, Dr. Savage. One of your Savagettes, and my husband and I, we wanted to purchase your book, Trump's War. And he went to Amazon.com a month ago, and he pre-ordered it. They took the payment. Today we got an email that they couldn't send us the book because what they wanted to do was take another payment and then just reimburse us after 7 to 10 days.
Are you telling me that Amazon is undermining my book? Jeff Bezos is doing this? I don't believe it. I need to do a poll right now. You paid for the book months ago, and they said we can't fulfill the order, and we want to give you a different book?
About a month and 2 weeks ago, he made the payment online.
Wow.
And
That's awful. Well, I hope that this is just a glitch, but I'm going to send you a free copy of Trump's War, but I'm going to make an inquiry right now. Has anyone else in America tried to order Trump's War on Amazon.com and had that happen to them? We need to know this right now. I must know right now if there's a secret little campaign going on behind my back. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? I'll be back in a minute. Be here. So many other topics to talk about. I know you're going to be here, so forget about it. I'm not desperate. I'm anxious. Two different things.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.